This is Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, along with Taylor McHarg. I'm Ari Temkin. Mike Golick Jr. from TNT is joining us here from Big 12 Media Days, the Star in Frisco. Got to start you off easy. Big Big 12 game this year. BYU and Notre Dame.
Man, let me tell you.
BYU by 2 touchdowns or 3?
I'll wait to see what that opening line is from somebody a lot smarter than me.
And maybe the opposite, probably the opposite way.
No, listen, I am here covering the Big 12 as a friend of the conference, so I'll save that for my personal social media handle. But not, in all seriousness, what an exciting opportunity for both of those schools. Now bonded forever over everything that went on around the Pop-Tarts Bowl last year, where Notre Dame was in line to potentially go and maybe play. BYU ends up being the star of one of the most beloved games in college football. And, now for both teams who wound up on the outside looking into the college football playoff, who are looking for that resume booster that could be the difference when it all comes down to Selection Sunday, a fantastic opportunity. I'm so glad that series is, a true home and home, one we're going to get to see like that, and just an outstanding thing for two great programs, two great brands in college football, period.
Mike, you spent most of last season with the Big 12, obviously with TNT. Curious just your thoughts on the league overall. A year under your belt, you're out on the road, you're visiting with these coaches, seeing a lot of different teams. Just your thoughts on health of the league and what your experience was covering the league last year.
Yeah, I think you have so many coaches that come not only with personal history in this conference, but some, with cachet from yesteryear. You get guys like Scott Frost down at UCF, Rich Rodriguez coming back at West Virginia last year, on and on down the list. I think there's so much character in the conference. And then the competitive quality of this conference. So many people from the outside looking in still go back to way dated software. The Big 12 is this pace and space league, and forgetting there's been a great defensive revolution in this league, and that overall and you really feel like anybody can go up and win. But you've also, I think, developed that important upper crust of the conference for right now with teams like BYU, Utah, Texas Tech. So the rest of the country looks at the Big 12, knows and sees, hey, there's a lot of really respectable football, and these great measuring stick teams that now within the conference provide great opportunities for theater each week.
Yeah, and I hope that's true. I feel like it is becoming more true, but it still seems like the Big 12 isn't thought of in the same ilk as some of the other teams and conferences and programs simply because of the conference overall. How does that change? How, what has to happen for that to change? Is it winning a playoff game? Is it getting far in the playoffs? Is it getting multiple bids to the playoff? What do you think?
I think winning a playoff game. Yeah, I mean, remember, year one of the 12-team playoff, you had Arizona State go and make this incredible run through that point, play a game that for so many people earned a lot of respect for Kenny Dillingham, for that program, for this conference. But I think the next step now is, all right, after you had that, close but no cigar, after you had Texas Tech this last year, who had one of the best defenses in college football, but unfortunately an offense that couldn't keep pace at that point, that next step is to win one. And I think that's the kind of thing that all of a sudden puts everyone on notice and says, hey, you're not going to get rid of us. You're not going to be able to push us to the side of the table here. We're here, and we're going to make it a problem for everyone we play.
Love this time of year for the analysts, right? We start getting our game assignments, get your first crack at looking at who you got week 1, week 2, start watching tape on it from last year. Do you know yet where you're going for any part of the season?
So I believe, I don't think I'm breaking any news, they announced our first 3 weeks of the season within the Big 12. So out of conference, we'll have West Virginia opening week against Coastal Carolina. We'll have Kansas State week 2, and then we're heading out to Arizona, I believe is our night game in week 3. And, we got to spend a lot of time with 2 West Virginia games last year, so got a chance to visit with Rich Rod and that staff a little bit. Exciting situation for them. Michael Hawking comes in, former Oklahoma quarterback, Scotty Fox Jr. on that team as well. Arizona, we spent 3 weeks out in Tucson, one of the most underrated food cities in the country. So start there. Always had great food in the booth when it came to halftime there. That staff was phenomenal. But bringing Noah Fafita back, one of the most veteran quarterbacks in all of college football, let alone this conference, after what Coach Brennan, that staff were able to do last year, especially defensively, is going to be fun to watch. And then, we didn't get a Kansas State game last year, so I'm so excited to visit with, Colin Klein, who was a peer of mine in college football back 2008 to 2012. He was in the Heisman finalist group, my teammate Manti Te'o, and now is the prodigal son coming back home to try and see if he can go and get the best out of a quarterback in Avery Johnson, who, I shouldn't say that. We did have a Kansas State. We had the Sunflower Showdown last year, dear God. But all that is to say, we get to see now this new version of the program with Colin at the helm, and to see, hey, quarterback that seems very similar. Like I joked with someone the other day, I wonder if there's been a point in the meeting where he slipped and called him son, like seeing so much of himself in there. And so, just a lot of really compelling storylines early on in the season that I think is going to be a great time.
As a Kansas alum and somebody that was at that game, we could just act like it didn't happen.
You know what? Coach Leipold's awesome. Going to Lawrence, incredible. The stadium there now and the job they've done on that's so fun. I hope they're going to let us back. They went 0-2 when we were there last year, and I know coaches say they don't care about that stuff, but I feel like they got a poster of the broadcast crew somewhere with the record next to it, and I don't know how welcome we're going to be back there this time around. So if anyone from Lawrence is listening right now, we had a great time. We love all teams equally. I promise we didn't put any sort of hex on the team there. They were great games. They were compelling games, and they just didn't go your way. So please have us back because we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I love Lance, but I sometimes he plays not to lose, and I'd like to hopefully see that change because I think there's some games where it's like, take some chances, go for it on fourth down, don't punt in that situation. I feel like that game in particular, Cincinnati game, there's some games where it's like, man, you got to be more aggressive, especially when you're, kind of a perennial underdog as Kansas football is.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting for them. I mean, obviously, we talked about some of the quarterbacks coming back. The Jalen Daniels era of Kansas football is over, and so now you've got that. And I think one of the more underrated storylines, Andy Kotelnicki coming back into the fold,
agreed,
with Lance, and the job that coaching staff all had done when they're together. And for Andy coming back after a tenure at Penn State that maybe didn't go the way that he or anyone there anticipated, you wonder if now having that comfort once again with each other and, a blank slate on offense that fewer people are going to have film on and be ready for, maybe gives them, especially in the early portion of the season, a chance to get out there and, like you said, make a splash, take a few more chances, knowing, hey, we don't have a veteran under center to rely on in that same way anymore, a guy who's been so integral in helping build this program with Coach Leipold in that time. Very interested to see.
Is there a Big 12 college town that's highest on your list that you haven't been to? You're like, I can't wait to get to that place for a game.
Man, well, the ones we didn't have last year, I've been to TCU. We didn't get to call a game there last year. Love hanging out in Fort Worth. I've had a great time in there in the past, so hopefully get a chance to do that again. We didn't get either of the Utah schools.
You say Salt Lake or Provo?
Salt Lake or Provo.
Beautiful.
I've been to Provo for a wedding. What a beautiful part of the country.
100%.
And have flown into Salt Lake as well and been around there. But I would love to get to see both of those in-game atmospheres too. I mean, two just so lauded wherever you go in the country for the environment that they produce there. So those would be high up on the list just because there are a few of the schools that we didn't get a chance to visit with either, on the road and get to visit with the staffs or see in person in that way.
Well, if we tell you it all this year and I go to a place where I know you've already been, I'm going to be reaching out, trying to get your recommendations for meals beforehand.
Oh, listen,
I know nobody eats better on the road and finds the spots like you do.
I don't got you covered on much. I got you covered on that right now. If you're looking to put on a few extra pounds during football season, I promise I can be the shepherd that welcomes you into the flock for that.
Last thing I wanted to ask you is, as somebody that played the position, like how have you seen offensive line play change since you played college football?
A ton. I mean, a lot of ink's been spilled about, the spread revolution and how that's changed from high school on up in the way that we've seen that. You just have a lot less time on the field now. That's collegiately, that's at the NFL level. And, I always say it's the most unnatural position in football. Everything about it is learned. You're going backwards trying to block some of the best athletes on the planet. And so I think you combine that now with the transfer portal era where I think people are learning. And Steve Sarkisian talked about this this offseason, about how it's a particularly difficult position in this era to try and recruit blue chip talent at because you pay the upfront price to get the guys in the door, but it's a position that's best developed over time. And so you combine that with transfer portal guys trying to go out there and maybe rebuild your roster that way. It's a position that rewards continuity, and you've got less of that than ever. So I hope now, the new 5-5 rule the NCAA has got coming down the pipeline that I think could benefit offensive linemen to say, hey, you've got 5 years no matter what to develop these guys physically, to develop them technically, and to give them time to work together as a unit. I think they've had so much working against them structurally and trying to make units that can stick together for a while and develop that maybe that gives you something back in that.
What's also interesting too, and Taylor, I'd love your thoughts on this, is we see a lot more 12 and 13 personnel now, especially in college. I wonder what that does to offensive line play as well, where you're having extra tight ends on the field more consistently.
If they can inline block, it helps them out quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well, we go from a spread to 11 personnel or 10 personnel to now like 12, 13 more heavy.
Well,
We're in
we
tight.
talked about it earlier. I mean, just how valuable the tight end position, more and more valuable it's become. It's sort of taken the place of the value of running backs from back in the day, where a lot of your NIL budget for your top tight ends, that's in some cases, that's where it's going. We saw it with Houston last year.
Right.
And again, if you can have somebody that can not only flex out and is, a threat downfield, you get them inline blocking, it's so valuable. I mean, nobody knows it better than you do, how valuable that is as an anchor on your offensive.
They can sneak them out flat. I mean, they become weapons. It's huge.
You combine that with the proliferation of mobile quarterbacks in there, because, like, for me, that's one of the things that can erase so many of the problems that you have up front, and whether that's involving guys in the run game like that, too, in a way that holds the defense. Like, it simplifies the looks that people present you. To your guys' point about 12 personnel, that's another thing. You can dictate the looks that you're going to get if you can get more teams to hang out there in base, if you can coax a safety or a big nickel who might not be as inclined to go ahead and fit it up in the run game. Like, those are all things that coaching staffs can do now to help. But I think in terms of that, and then in terms of especially when you get down to the toughest spot in the red area, nothing helps your offensive line like having a quarterback who's mobile enough to get out of trouble or be a plus add in the run game. I mean, we just saw Houston and Connor Wigman walk by. No greater example than that. You get down to the goal line and all of a sudden you're +1 because you got a guy that you can run QB power with when the going gets tough. That's a pretty huge win for you guys up front.
Great point. Mike Golick Jr. with TNT. Appreciate your time. Thanks. Have a great season.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
you having me.
Mike Golick Jr. joining us. Taylor McHargue, Ari Temkin, Big 12 today, live from the Big 12 Media Days here at the Star in Frisco.
Jackson's in trouble down. They Back here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, heard exclusively on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. We are at Big 12 Football Media Days, joined now by a couple of Houston Cougars, quarterback Connor Wegman and wide receiver Amari Thomas, one of the top quarterback-wide receiver duos in this league and maybe the entire country. Houston coming off a 10-win season a year ago. And guys, I guess just take us through the day and the experience so far. Like this time last year, nobody's talking about Houston football. This time this year, you guys are a major headline based off of that 10-win campaign last year.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited to be here. It's a privilege and an honor to be able to be here and represent our university and represent our teammates and our coaches and being able to speak for them. And like I said, we're excited for the season. I think we have a really good opportunity, and we've been putting in a lot of hard work, and it's time to go do it on the field now.
I definitely say the same thing. You said like we're here today after a 10-3 season. Last year nobody was really looking at us, so just being here with the I say standard it's a privilege for sure.
Connor, I remember we had you guys last year, Stephen F. Austin, that Thursday night game, week 1, and there was so much new, there was so much unknown. How different has it been this offseason for you guys, where you know what you are and you know what the expectations are? How has that benefited you guys during your preparation this offseason?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at that point last year, we were trying to find our identity as an offense. There was a bunch of new pieces, and we all didn't quite understand how to work together quite yet. And just being able to keep going throughout the week, every week, I feel like we got better each week. And being able to build that chemistry and get on the same page with us as players, with the offensive staff, and we found our groove, and we hope to continue rolling.
Connor, when you speak, I'm going to have you hold the mic. Look, there you go.
My bad.
You're the man.
That's my fault.
No worries. Little BTS behind the scenes.
Perfect.
Okay?
There we go.
You guys are both like a fascinating story, right? Amari, you were like, what, a 17-year-old freshman at UAB when you kind of burst onto the scene. Connor, your time at Texas A&M before Houston. So what has made Houston kind of solidified in your mind is like the perfect fit for you?
I say I don't even know really like just to say it's just perfect. Like that was the only visit I took out of the portal. So it was like as soon as I got there, I just felt like I was at home. I just felt like it was the place to be, and it worked out.
Like he said, I mean, Houston was home for me. I mean, I grew up there.
Right.
I've been going to University of Houston games since I was a kid, watching Case Keenum and him lighting up scoreboards, and just being able to come back to my hometown and play with the city across my chest. It's a privilege, and just the relationship I have with Coach Fritz and Coach Bell and Coach Nagel, they're the best coaches I've been around, and just being able to play for them and be with them every single day is a privilege.
I was on the receiving end of some of those beatdowns from the Case Keenum era, so we'll skip past those for now. Guys, I'm curious for both of you, the connection you had from last season and carry it into this season. What do you work on right now? What does extra work look like? You guys are, is it red zone? Is it deep balls? Is there anything specific that you guys are trying to find that you want to tweak or that you looked at from last year and said, I think we can be better here?
I would say being able to push the ball down the field more. I feel like last year we had a bunch of methodical drives. We had a bunch of 10, 12, 14, 16 play drives last year, and being able to score from far. I mean, that's what I've been focusing on with the receivers when we go work by ourselves without the coaches. And you don't get many shots to be able to hit down the field during a game. So when it comes, you got to be able to capitalize and make it happen.
I definitely say the same thing. Just working on stretching the field. Like Connor said, you don't get too many shots at that. So when the shots do come, you just have to make the play. We working on like the intermediate game as well. Time and things, but most definitely stretching the field.
Talking with Houston quarterback Connor Wegman, had over 35 touchdowns, throwing and rushing last season combined, and then Amari Thomas led the league with 12 touchdown catches. So you guys are talking about essentially, it sounds like, more explosive plays offensively, right? So
yeah.
What all goes into that, or what was the missing piece last year that maybe you have now this year?
I wouldn't say missing pieces. I would just say just the timing we have with each other. I mean, going into year 2 under the same offense with Coach Nagel, I mean, everyone knows what we're trying to do as an offense and being able to expand on that. I feel like we kept it pretty simple last year to get everybody playing fast, but now that everyone's been in the offense for a year or two, to being able to get more plays in the game and being able more versatile on the offensive side of the ball.
I definitely say the same thing. Just building on what we had last year. I wouldn't say it was just like playing, but just building on it. Being able to do different things off of stuff we already did. Coming in with guys that was in the offense last year. I think we like one of the most experienced teams coming back. So it's just we're able to do more.
Connor, we've heard Coach Fritz talk some this offseason about how expectation that this will be an improved offensive line unit, that was maybe some areas where some of the reason you couldn't push it downfield maybe as much as just needed a little better play there. What have you seen out of this new unit, new and improved unit, that gives you that confidence going into this season from that group?
Just how quickly they gelled. I mean, we got 3 new guys from the transfer portal coming in, and just them getting together early on and setting the tone. I feel like the quarterback's got to lead with his voice, but the O-line, they set the tone and how the game's played. It starts up front, and it starts with them, and I think they're going to be really good this year.
Yeah, Coach Fritz brought up Shadre Hurst, said he's the strongest guy on the team, biggest guy on the team. Is that true? What does he do in the weight room, and how does the offensive line, physically, compare to what you saw last year?
I'll say this: he hang clean 415 yesterday.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Off a 1 week break. So
that's what James was doing this morning in the hotel.
Man, I was like, pre-workout, let's go.
Yeah, Shadre Hurst, he puts on a show every day in the weight room. He's got the whole team surrounding his rack literally every day.
Every day.
And it's something special to watch.
Is that part of the Willie Fritz secret sauce, is what you guys do in the weight room and when it comes to strength and conditioning? Because everywhere he's been, he's, I don't want to say one more with less. I don't like that narrative, but he's just turned around programs at every stop. How does he do it?
Culture.
Yeah.
Just trusting what he say, some people, you just hear him talking, you might think it's just, the coach just talking, but with Coach Fritz, it actually works. Everything he says is the proof is in the pudding. So you really ain't got no choice but to trust it.
Every single team meeting, his first thing is stick to the plan, and he says that every single day. And the culture he's built in a short amount of time at the University of Houston is special.
He also seems like a coach that is genuinely in your corner, outside of football. If something goes wrong in life, Coach Fritz is going to be there for you. Just always seems like his guys play hard for him. I don't know how he communicates that with you guys, but just seems like a guy that his teams have always played tremendously hard for him.
For sure. I feel like he has our back through it all, and it's easy to play for people like that.
If you look at our coaching staff, you could really tell, because most of our coaches have been around Fritz for
awesome.
years or either played for him. So he takes care of his guys for sure.
How do you guys hear him? He is always so soft spoken. Is he a yeller?
Yes.
No, he has a microphone at practice.
Yeah, he has a microphone at practice, but
it's hard to find him because there's 2 practice fields and he gets the mics going off. You're like, oh, where's Coach Fritz at?
But you can definitely hear him without it when it's time to hear.
It's like a ninja just hiding. You never know where he's going to be. Pops out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. All right, guys. Before we let you go, let's get to know you a little bit here. What is your biggest pet peeve? And I'll give you a second to think about it. Biggest pet peeve. We've got Amari Thomas, Houston wide receiver. Where's number 0? We've got Connor Wegman, Houston quarterback. Where's number 1? One of the top quarterback receiver combos in the league. Your number 1 pet peeve?
I'd probably say when people smack their gum. That's got to be up there.
I'd probably just say, if somebody tell me they'll do something and don't do it.
Okay. That's a good one. What on the flight up here, what was on the playlist? What are we listening to right now?
Sleep.
You were sleeping. No music.
No music. We were sleeping on the plane.
Connor, is that a direct shot? I'm chewing gum right now. I'd like to apologize.
I promise. No, that wasn't. I didn't even know you had gum in your mouth.
Oh, that's perfect. That's beautiful.
What I listen to on the way up here, Rollo just dropped a new album. I listen to Rollo.
Okay, there we go. That's also when we were doing hang cleans this morning. That was what was in the gym for us.
Throw it on, guys. Loudspeaker it. All right, how do you guys prepare for this season mentally and just the expectations for Houston football? We're really excited about what you guys look like on paper. How does it all come together?
I mean, we're all in on this season. I feel like we have a special group of guys, a special coaching staff, and it's just time to put it all together. I mean, like this, we got some hype surrounding our names now, and just be able to go out and put it on the field and put that on tape. It's one thing to talk about. We got to go out and do it now.
I definitely say the same thing. Just keeping our head down and working. You know, we got a little saying like when we be working out, like the list don't mean anything. Nobody ever won a championship off a preseason list, so we just working. We even though we have a little height this year, still expectations.
Love it, man. Love it. Best of luck this season. Enjoyed talking to you guys, and keep it up, man. You guys are crushing it.
Sir, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having us on.
Appreciate
Thank you, guys.
Houston wide receiver Amare Thomas, and then Houston quarterback Connor Wegman here on Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. Heard exclusively on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios.
And it's broken up. Latrell McCutcheon is a bad dude.
And McCutcheon absolutely changes this ball game.
Levitt thought about taking a shot. Instead, he takes his shot from Latrell McCutcheon. And McCutcheon with bad intentions on that hit on Levitt.
Mack, the second, is playing that defensive end spot. And Buren crushed on a corner blitz. There's Latrell McCutcheon Sr. First sack of the season, and it was a loud one.
Out of an empty set. Murphy finds Wells, can't hold on, and they rule that incomplete. Latrell McCutcheon, who Willie Fritz believes is an NFL player with the PBU.
But he is some player, not afraid to make tackles either.
High snap, Welch wrestled down the backfield. That's Latrell McCutcheon,
A willing tackler. He's a guy he only goes about 185 pounds at 6'1".
Another bad snap and exchange, and McClain has to run for it. He lost his hat. McCutcheon absolutely changes this ball game.
That's 126 nationally. Awful. Quick toss. Man. Gets popped. The ball is out, and it's out of bounds. Two leaping Cougars defenders, and Latrell McCutcheon and Sione Fotu
Here at the Ford Center, the Star in Frisco, for the 2026 Monster Energy Big 12 Media Days. We're visiting right now with the Chief Competition Officer for the Big 12. I just had it in my head, and then as soon as it tried to come out of my mouth is really where the disconnect happened. Chief Competition.
You're trying too hard.
You're right.
It's just head of football.
Head of football.
Head of football.
Head of football.
And head of football. There you
Head
go.
of football.
That's what Brett says.
That's what we should say.
Head of football.
Head of football.
We're here with the head of football. We're at Football Media Day.
Yes, I don't know what it's all these other words. It's very
No, it
convoluted.
doesn't
It's
mean
confusing.
anything.
Head of football, Scott Draper joining us here on Big 12 Radio. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Busy summer?
Yeah, it's been wild, clearly. But glad we're here at Football Media Day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
It's always a great part of the summer to kick off Football Media Day, knowing that football is like 9 Saturdays from now. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Glad you guys are here as well.
Yeah, and just on that, like I'm assuming you've been in college sports a long time. I'm assuming you probably think at some point you've seen it all, and then you haven't.
Yeah, I said that to somebody earlier today. When you think you've seen it all, just wait till the next morning. But I think that's just part of the chaos of college sports right now. And Brett talked about it today a little bit about what's needed for us to stabilize our game, stabilize college football. The College Sports Act certainly is a good step in that direction. But I'm grateful for his leadership and the leadership of our board and our athletic directors. They never wavered in their support for the direction, and certainly, we're moving forward as he said, 16 strong. Can't wait for the football season to be here.
No kidding.
Seeing our coaches and our players today gets me excited about Big 12 football.
All right, Scott. So what are those things that are needed to better the sport of college football?
Well, I think what we need is enforceable rules. I think we're working our way to that. Again, the College Sports Act helps us get there. I think the things that are happening now at the NCAA level are good and positive steps. Age-based eligibility stabilizes some of the back and forth of am I eligible, when, where, and why, and how. And I think the way and the effort that in the leadership at the NCAA level to empower the decision makers, the athletic directors, the coaches to make decisions. You saw a lot of, I think in my time in the conference world, which is now like 13 years, this is the most action that the football oversight, the work that they did in early winter, and then carried on with the changes to the transfer portal, and now some of the work that they put out, the 14-week schedule, and the changes they put out to the college football calendar. All of that are things that are needed, and there's more to come too. There's more work that's going to be done on recruiting and the recruiting calendar that they're working on now. So all of the efforts that Charlie and empowered the decision makers and the practitioners to be involved in and got rid of the bureaucracy, those things are really, really positive. So we don't have a long way to go. We've made some good steps, but there's some really big steps you'll still yet to take.
Yeah, and the calendar is really interesting, just based on what you've said, but then also for the potential expanded playoff, which would need a new calendar, and certainly what we're working towards is in line with that. Give us your vision of an expanded playoff, what that schedule might look like in the Big 12.
Well, there's some things you have to take into account. I mean, you work backwards from the NFL schedule. You figure out what Army Navy looks like and where that goes. And I think look, my first 19 years in college football was at the University of Michigan. We didn't play a football game on Thanksgiving weekend in 19 years. So playing football, regular season football on Thanksgiving weekend is relatively new. And so I think you can carve some time out back earlier in the season. If you expanded to 24, certainly you've got to deal with more rounds and no conference championship games. But I think there's ways to do it. It's not rocket science. It can be done. And I think for us and for my colleagues in the Power Four and in all of college FBS football, just work through it. We've proven that we can work together, and we all have the common goal of making the game great, and we just need to get to work.
You know, with the college football calendar, it's kind of hard to identify, like, how did we get here? Like when you said 19 years is a tenure, right? How did we get to this point with the college football calendar? Is it the expansion of the playoff? Teams are just playing more games collectively. There's more weeks of the season. What would you identify as the top factors?
A lot of those years I was there, we only played 11 conference games or 11 regular season games, right? So we added a 12th game, so that added more time, certainly. And I think how we got here was conference championship games. There's a great thirst for college football, and this, now we're going to start playing football in what will be the new week 1 every year before Labor Day.
Are we going to call that week 1?
Yeah, so that's funny. So
week 0 is going away.
I have this monthly call with our football schedulers, and I asked them that same question like 2 weeks ago. What are we going to be calling this thing? So we're all on the same page. So so we decided for a year we're going to call it the new week 1, and then after that we're going to call it just week 1. So week 0 is dead forever. And thank
God.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone will start football before Labor Day next year. There'll be games on Thursday and Friday. There'll be games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, because there's no NFL those 2 weeks, you can have games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for those first 2 weeks. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for us and a lot of great football those first couple of weeks.
How big of a deal is the Big 12 championship game, just as a product overall, without even thinking about the potential future of it with the playoff? How big of a deal is it to have that?
Well, as a standalone event, it's the biggest showcase that we have for the Big 12. There's no doubt about that. But I think Brett's been clear about the fact that if you expand the playoff to a 2014 playoff, there's just not enough value there, and the calendar, the quality of the game, the teams that are participating likely are already in the field. There's lots of things that factor into it, and so it's likely a casualty of a 2014 playoff. But because we're not there yet, and we this is the first year Big 12 will be playing our championship game on Friday night at AT&T Stadium. I'm excited about that opportunity, and 86,000 people. You guys were there last year. I mean, it was an incredible environment.
Yep.
I expect the same this year in terms of the environment and the passion of the fans. So, yeah, it's an awesome event for us. Chance for us to bring our VIPs and partners and entertain them. And so it checks a lot of boxes for us. But and Brett said it today too, like there's a lot of teams being left out of the field, and many of those are in the Big 12.
So if the college football playoff expands to 24, is that the only scenario where the talking point of a 10-game conference schedule is like, do those two things coincide with one another, or is there a possibility where, hey, maybe it doesn't expand, maybe we keep the Big 12 championship game and still go to 10 games to beef up everybody's schedule?
It's a good question. I think how we've evaluated it currently, and it's really in the infancy stage too. We haven't spent a lot of time talking and evaluating it, but what we did discuss at our spring meetings, and you guys were there, I think Brett mentioned it at that time as well, is that a 2014 playoff and the 12 regular season games that you play really are meaningful at that point, and giving a chance to, and if the metrics change, which they will, the quality of the field will be evaluated a little bit differently, which it would. Then you have a chance to expand and do a little something different. And for us, a 16-team league, having more results against each other help, the fact that you're crowning a champion without a playoff or without a championship game at the end of the season. So it's definitely something that we'll continue to talk about. There's would be a fine line of if the playoff does not expand, what those reasons will. We just haven't done the work yet on anything. We really haven't done the work on the 24, but we've introduced it and talked about it as a concept.
I have a crazy idea. What if we left the last 2 weeks of the regular season open and had kind of a little bit of a Big 12 tournament, if you will?
Yeah, I think
I mean, you have to work out the logistics. of it. I'm just coming up with ideas.
No,
here.
I think there's certainly leagues that are doing it, and they're not just football leagues that have done it. It happens all the time. So it can be done. There are logistics involved. There are some things involved in there, but yeah, I think when you have a chance to reset the entire ecosystem, you look at everything.
Right.
And we'll do that. We'll look at how often everyone plays each other. We have our matrix, who plays who. This is the last year of this cycle, 4-year cycle of it. So we'll complete this year, and then we'll look at for the 27 season resetting it. And how we do that is an effort that we've been kind of undertaking for the last 4 or 5 months.
Okay, you answered where I was going next. So this is the last year of the matrix. You do a reset, but team schedules like this year look very different than last year, which I think is awesome because it opens the door for some teams, it closes it for others, and we don't know who those teams are yet. So what will the next block look like? Is it going to be another 4 years? And when does that process really get going?
So it started last January, in January, and we put everything on the table, resetting it every year, resetting it a couple years, or extending it longer term. There is some certainty when you do longer term, certainly with building your other non-conference games around that schedule. But what we found is doing it that far in advance with the way that the game is, the transfer portal, you really don't know who's going to be good and who's not. And so there's some competitive balance issues that we face a little bit each year when you don't when you extend it out 4 years. So when we did it 4 years ago, the teams that were projected to be coming off great seasons, and you build it competitively around that, those things shift. So we've got to deal with that, and we've got some creative ways that we're exploring, but we've got to make a decision by spring next year about where we're headed for 27 and beyond, or 28 and beyond. But so yeah, I mean, when I say we have one more year, the 27 season is the last year of the matrix, not the 26 season.
Got it.
It's funny in some ways. You kind of have a thankless job. You're like a referee, where like people only point out when when you make mistakes, or the conference makes mistakes, as opposed to like all the positive things. One of those things, though, and not a mistake, but a lot of people, everyone wants to play on Saturdays, right? Everyone wants to play, but what are the advantages to having weeknight games for the Big 12?
Well, Saturdays certainly in certain parts of the country are, and certain times of the year are just iconic, and so there's always going to be Saturday football. There's no doubt about that. But Saturdays are crowded. There's lots of teams playing football on Saturday, and so for us to be able to have clear air, we need to be off Saturday. That's not a secret. We've been very open about that. In fact, our ratings reflect that.
Right.
So we'll be intentional about that. But I would tell you that I hear our fans and our coaches and our ADs and folks that have concerns about certain times of the year and influencing in other aspects. I tell you, the Big 12 has a great relationship with the Texas High School Football Coaches Association. Joe Martin and I, when I got this job, I was very intentional about. I didn't know Joe at all, or I knew about Texas high school football certainly, and I've learned to educated myself over the last 4 years, and spent time with Joe. Joe's and his staff have been to our office multiple times. Joe and his number 2, Glenn Wilson, have been to our football championship, and their wives the last 4 years. They'll continue to come. Joe and I spent a day together in April. I went to San Marcos. So we have a lot of shared goals, not just on promoting college football and high school football, but they're the only state in the country that plays by the NCAA rules. So the playing rules, the playing rules.
Right.
So when we make
probably NIL in Texas football.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
When we change the punt play, the punt formation, or when we add in-game video, or they have to understand what that means to them as well. And so we spend a lot of time talking about rules and the things that are important to them in their game. And so, yeah, our relationship with with Texas High School Coach Association, and Joe and Glenn particularly is strong, and we will continue to support Texas high school football.
Man, like personally, I love weeknight football.
Yeah.
And some of the best experiences I've ever had as a fan were during the week, Thursday or Friday night games. Much of those attended in Manhattan, Kansas, at Kansas State.
That's right.
So to me, it's like Maction on steroids. I love it. I'm here for it. And it seems like the public, they love it too. So what type of potential is there? Can we get crazy and play games other nights of the week? Like what are the possibilities, I guess?
Yeah, we've not limited ourselves to just Friday. We are playing Friday this year, certainly. But as opportunities, well, we're playing Thanksgiving Thursday this year.
Yeah.
So, as opportunities come up, we'll look at those opportunities in an effort to build the league. Rich Rodriguez, he was the chair of our coaches group this year, and at our coaches meeting, he talked a lot about when he was at West Virginia the first time, and that what playing on the Big East Friday night, what that meant to that program when you're building a program. So there is absolutely no doubt that if you're building a program, it's a great place to build a fan base, and I know we will continue to lean into it. The data shows that we should and continue to do that, but there's a balance, and we'll continue to be open about that balance, and most importantly, communicate with our constituents to make sure that they are fully aware and on board with what we're doing.
Big 12 football product is as good of a product as it's ever been, and that is thanks to Scott Draper, the head of football of the Big 12. Scott, I always appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Scott Draper joining us here on Big 12 Radio at Big 12 Media Days on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios.
Of 41 yards and 39 yards, respectively. This is Emmanuel Henderson, who had a 42-yard kickoff return in the first half. Has a seam, he pulls through, and he's off to the races. Emmanuel Henderson opens the second half with a kickoff return touchdown of 93 yards.
Nothing fancy coming up. Watch this little cut that he makes right here, right there. Guys had an opportunity to get him, and then, like he's a sprinter at the World Championship, showing him the tail line. Look at him stretch it out, and that's the way you're supposed to do it. You finish through the tape, man. You got to get that lean at the tape. Henderson electrifies this crowd here in Lawrence. And watch this. The form. Dip. Get that chest to break the tape at the goal line.
Not break stride here at all. And just unfortunately, Tatum Barnes' feet get tangled up right there really awkwardly, made him touch grass. I think the off-frame throw.
Daniels looking Henderson's way, and he's going to take a shot for him. He and Johnny's there, caught it, and into the end zone touchdown. They got Lampley a little spun around.
This little play action. Good job up front. Good protection.
Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, here at Big 12 Media Days, the Ford Center Star in Frisco. Not too far away from where Eric Morris used to coach, North Texas. Now with the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Eric Morris joining Taylor McCargan and Ari Temkin here at Big 12 Media Days. How are you, Coach?
I'm good. I think Taylor and I go back. We're first time we were probably at Incarnate. We were Southland.
Incarnate Word playoff game.
Tell everybody how nice the Incarnate Word press box is to call a football game. Because they need to know this.
It was freezing, and in order to get to the other side where everybody for stats and everybody else working the game had to get there, they had to walk through the TV booth. And it was just cold the whole game because we could not get people from opening up the TV booth during the game. But your quarterback was pretty good. I do remember that.
I'm from a 2A high school. It used to be 2A, it's 3A now, but I mean, way better facilities than Incarnate Word.
That was well, there's been a couple different staffs that have come through there, and what they've been able to create at Incarnate Word.
Oh no, and I shouldn't talk trash. Like,
unbelievable.
that place was magical for me, and I think allowed me to go to a place and really learn how to be a head coach at a young age. And so I'm super thankful for my time at Incarnate Word. But I was trying to think, that was the first time that
a playoff game, 2000, and we'll call it maybe 21, somewhere in there.
Sounds right.
Who was the quarterback?
A guy named Cam Ward.
It was good.
Not too bad.
I mean, truly, how unbelievable is it that a former Incarnate Word quarterback became the #1 pick in the NFL draft?
Well, I know we're supposed to talk about the Big 12 today, but you've got to tell the story of how you guys got Cam Ward, hiding him in a camp. And
yeah, we found him at a camp, and naturally, Mac Leftwich, who's the offense coordinator at Texas Tech, was our quarterback coach at the time, and so I'm going to every position, but they're just warming up, and so Mac brought me a piece of paper, and it had his number on the whatever his number was, 375. At 375 was highlighted, circled, and had a note, please come watch this kid when you can. And this was just during warm-ups, and so just a different zip on the ball, powerful. Cam was a little overweight at the time, and so but we got through camp, and then at the end of it, we kept him kind of for a private session, and was making some throws that and I'd just been with Baker, I'd been with Patrick Mahomes, Davis Webb had crazy arm talent. Like, those are the three guys I was with, and like Cam was just as good as all, making these field comebacks on a line. You're like, holy smokes! So we're like, all right, like, that was the most impressive camp I've ever seen. Let's go watch this kid's film, and we'll offer him right afterwards. And we go watching, like, he has like 4 throws on film, and the rest of it's a wing tee. You couldn't see him in the gun. You knew nothing about him. So then we're like, all right, this is perfect. Like, in this era of football, like, it's almost impossible to hide people with technology, and you get the film out. And so, but yeah, he was one that we did, and just fell in love with him.
I mean, Drew Mestemaker is a similar great story too, right?
I know, but I can't take it. Like, at least we found him and watched him, and he played. Like, Drew's was a little bit different just because, I had 2 buddies that worked him out, and they called me in the spring, and they're like, okay, coach, Jeff Christensen called me, who said he's a quarterback trainer and trains a bunch of the NFL guys. So he said, hey, I think I found the next NFL quarterback for you. I'm like, all right, perfect. I said, send me a film. He said, well, he's this year coming out. I said, well, I have a walk-on spot. He said, all right. And I said, well, send me the film. We'll evaluate it, and we'll.
Well, that's the problem, Coach.
And he said, well, that's the thing. You don't have any film. And I said, Jeff, you want me to bring in this kid with no film? He didn't even play in high school? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, that's the same thing. He's like, but just let me bring him down there. You watch him throw for 10 minutes, and you'll see what I see. He said, I don't know if he can process information, but he has the cleanest release of anybody I've ever seen. No wasted movement in his release, which is true. Of any quarterback I've ever coached, he has the least wasted movement. And some people even think it's unorthodox the way it comes back, because he keeps everything open. You and I could talk about this forever watching this film. But so we watched him throw for 10 minutes and said, yeah, perfect, let's bring him on. Now, even at that point, I had no clue. So, like, this isn't one where I feel like the other ones evaluated. I had no clue he could process information, that he was tough, that he was smart, that he's a great teammate, he's a great lead. Like, I knew he had none of these characteristics. Now, I found him out really fast after that, but I didn't know any of those at that point.
Coach, what is it like taken into Oklahoma State now? Modern era of college football, new staff comes in. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there was this almost expectation that maybe a year or two to build up. But now you see so many teams where they come in, and the expectation, like you've talked about, is we need to go now. We need to win now. And you bring a couple key pieces with you, namely your all-world quarterback. What is that like to be able to step into a new place and feel like we've got the confidence that we can do this right now?
Yeah, I think every situation is different, and I've learned that. This is stop number 3, and so really intentionally on the front half of it, the first 6 to 7 months, I think it's about evaluating everything within your program, right, and all the details from the day-to-day stuff, and then donor relations, and nowadays you got to see where you fit in your budget right now and what can we afford and not afford, and so it's interesting kind of taking time to kind of compile all this information and then really be able to sit back these next 2 weeks, which I'll spend a ton of time doing, just figuring out, hey, what do I think we're doing really good right now? Where are we lacking? Where does this program need to grow to keep us on that? Now, the interesting part about this is that we brought some proven guys in our systems that I think are going to give us a chance to make it happen faster, right? And so this will be the first time since, I guess, Cam Ward from Incarnate Word to Washington State that I've coached the same quarterback for the second straight year.
Wow.
And so I expect to see a lot of growth in Drew's game, just with how smart he is and then just how few of games he's actually played the position. I think he'll have a huge jump this year.
Tell me about Raj Murdy. What is he, 26, 30? How old is he?
I think he's 25. I think he's
25. Because you and I are the same age. I'm 40. I'll be 41 in August. I think you're a little bit younger. Like, what? 25? Like, that's insane that his evaluation, you trust him that much to bring him with you and then basically put together this entire roster.
Yeah, another good story on that. And I always trust people that I have good relationships with and that I trust, right? And so my 2 position coaches in college were Dana Holgerson and Sonny Dykes. And so those were the 2 people that Raj had worked for at the University of Houston and then at TCU. And so both of those guys couldn't speak highly of how bright he was, how sharp he was. And so, and then obviously like controlling a spreadsheet right now, the way I have to, like, I had no clue, I hated all those math classes when I was in college. Right. So I purposely didn't learn how to run the Excel sheet. I'm purposely a play caller, football player. I like to draw plays and I see them happen visually. And so that's like my form of art, right? Like I hate that stuff. And so someone that excelled in that and could really build a business model behind, kind of, and we could collaborate on some of our thoughts on putting together a team. And today where ROI is a real thing, right? I mean, this is a business and we're investing in these kids and we need that money to be on the field working for us. And so, so I had people that had great relationships with him. They gave great recommendations, interviewed him, thought he was phenomenal. And he's been great turnout.
It's what, year 2 with him or year 3 with him?
Yeah, so this will be year 2 with him. So he can take no. I remind him all the time, like he can take no credit for Caleb Hawkins and Drew Messinator and all these people that were already there when he showed up. I said, listen, that was my doing.
One day I'll tell you off air my decommitting from Dana Holgerson story. That one I can't share.
I want to hear that.
Oh, that one
That
sounds
one I can't
amazing.
share on air.
Did you get screamed at?
I got some Dana.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. What it's an open-ended question, but what is most exciting for you in this new era? First season at a place like Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I love challenges. I love when people tell me I can't do something, and I think that's what's made me successful at every stop of my life and even my career, right? And even as a player, people told me I was too small and not fast enough and all these things, and Mike Leach took a chance on me, and I always wanted to prove Mike right for taking that chance. I was so appreciative for that chance, and this game was so transformational for me. And then obviously I had great coach. I mean, we talked about Dana and Sonny, and then Lincoln Riley was my position coach of last year. So I've had great men that have poured into me, and so I think I've never been to a place with resources, and so I've never been fixated on that. Like, we had no resources or history or any kind of past success at Incarnate Word, so that was a challenge. Same thing at North Texas. Everybody's like, well, it's in the Metroplex, this great location, why can it never be successful? That was a great challenge for me. And so even this now, like Oklahoma State, for me, like, I have great memories of Oklahoma State as a player and a coach when I was playing, because Coach Gundy had them on fire there. Like, you did not want to go to Boone Pickens, especially not at night. Like, it's rowdy and it's crazy. And I've seen Stillwater on fire. And so I thought, it's a conference I'm familiar with, and a conference that I think we can get Oklahoma State going back pretty fast.
in terms of your offense and your schematics, are you, I guess, who do you have so many different influences, I'm sure, with just the names you've mentioned already in terms of just offensive ingenuity. You're talking about some of the, most revolutionary offensive play callers and designers in the history of the game. I mean, with Mike and Dana and Lincoln, I guess give us kind of your who do you borrow from the most? Who's maybe your most influential, just in terms of your specific offense?
So the way it happened, because I was with Coach Kingsbury at Texas Tech for all those years.
Another one.
I was so tired of being the number one offense in the nation and not competing for championships, and I think that's something that really bothered me. So when I went off to Incarnate Word and doing my own thing, like I really studied on, the time at that time, like Clemson was winning national championships, LSU was winning national championships, and these teams were what I would call not ground. I mean, had a bunch of spread stuff in there. They were throwing the ball. Now, when I looked at it, we were rushing the ball for about 70 yards, 60, 70 yards a game.
Right.
They were rushing the ball for like 150 to 170. So, about 100 more yards a game. And so I made a conscious effort to learn the run game. Like I knew the pass game. I felt like I had a PhD from all those guys on how to get people open, how to throw, how to teach quarterbacks progressions. Like, I felt like I wanted to install a run game that matched up with that would cause us not only to be able to run the ball more, but a tougher football team. Because I think if you practice that way, your whole team becomes tougher. And so that's kind of where we change. And then I've taken bits and pieces from everybody. I mean, I think Lincoln was really good at running counter back at that time. Spent time studying a bunch of their stuff, and then we're really good at outside zone last year, and so spent a ton of time studying some of the NFL mid-zone stuff that we could run out of the gun. That was our most successful run play last year. And so just spending time to committing to my own personal growth on how to run these schemes successfully.
Coach, just one more for me on Drew. Is there any conversation that needs to be had between his success to this point and now stepping into the Big 12? Or is it just the scheme is the same, your play caller is the same, just continue to be you?
Yeah, the strides he's made. I mean, I think with you playing the position and understanding like what it takes. Like Drew has become such a student of the game, and for him at practice, like I remember 2 years ago, calling him over after a set of Skelly or a set of team, and me having some notes taken down. Like when Drew runs over now, like he's telling me the 5 things that he knows I would already tell him right now. And so I think, and then for me, I've always believed in doing what quarterbacks are comfortable with. And so we spend so much time in conversation on and even if we try new things, like, hey, do you like this? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Like a bunch of the vertical choice stuff that we did, before he got there, he didn't like it because there's not an outlet a bunch of times on those, and he wants to know where his outlet is. And so, just knowing Drew doesn't like that play, even though I might like it and think it's a good play call, I'm not going to call it if he doesn't. So I think matching up our thought processes, and he's grown so much of understanding actually the game. I think you can have such a more of what you like and not like.
Yeah, look, I think if people listen to you talk for 5 minutes and then see the roster you put together, it's obvious to figure out why so many people have talked about your team making a huge stride this year. But how much is it important to focus on, taking a locker room that has not won a lot? I mean, has not won a Big 12 game in 2 years and turning that into a winning locker room. Is that maybe an understated part of this, as so many people have talked what you guys can do this year up?
Yeah, that was hard for me. It's easy at Incarnate Word. I go in there and blow the whole thing up. They'd never won. North Texas is a little different. They were in a bowl game. The first time I got introduced was at a bowl game meeting. And so they had some success and won some games. And so there were some different areas that I felt like I needed to fix and figure those out. And so the majority of this roster that we're bringing back from Oklahoma State has not been in a locker room after winning a Big 12 game, which blows my mind. And so I can't be naive to that and understand confidence and belief in what we're about to do is first and foremost, so important. And because I've never been around a good football player that wasn't confident and didn't believe in himself. And so for us to instill that in these guys before we get going is something that's been super important. Our coaches know that too, voice that quite frequently.
Really appreciate your time, Coach. Thank you so much. Good luck this season.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Eric Morris, the Oklahoma State football coach, joining us here on Big 12 Radio from the 2026 Monster Energy Big 12 Media Days here at the Star in Frisco.
Montez retreating. That one's batted. That one's picked. And we got action in Lubbock. Skylar Gill Howard. A big man touchdown. At the 16. Dampier drops it off near side. Snowden looking for some blockers. And he won't get them. They're just jumping on him. Gill Howard. Just go get the quarterback.
David Bailey bearing down, and there's a sack, and it's Skylar Gill Howard. Bailey applied pressure from the edge. Gill Howard cleaned it up inside. 4th down.
Couple of sacks, couple of tackles for losses in this game. Chris Bernillion running here, and they're going to blow it dead, short of the line. Figure out how to move the ball. Dampier fakes the toss, and he'll gain a yard, not a lot, as Skylar Gill Howard comes up with the tackle. Keep it on the ground on 3rd and long to try to get something to put him in 4th and manageable. Burnett down at the 40.
Best Texas Tech defense I've seen in the last 10 plus years. That pass is intercepted. And again, it was Murphy under pressure. Lots of pressure.
Here's a handoff. Rodgers. And Rodgers gains 5. Gill Howard again.
Big 12 Media Days here at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. We're talking Baylor football right now with linebacker Kylan Reed and quarterback DJ Lagway. What's up, guys?
How you doing? How you doing? Are you good?
Yeah, how about you?
Bless, yes, sir.
DJ, let's start with you. Obviously, the thing that stood out to me this offseason was you guys took a trip together to Florida to throw. Is that right? Or California?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we went to Miami as a receiver.
Okay, I thought I heard Miami. I thought I remember. So just tell us about that, how that came to fruition, why, what was behind that. I think that says a lot about you and the teammate that you are.
Yeah, I say early on, new team, a lot of new guys on the offensive side. Let's just go do something outside of ball. Spend time with each other, but also go throw, just have a good time really. And I feel like us going down there has definitely helped our chemistry, and I'm excited to continue to see where it goes.
It's amazing.
DJ, what do you like most about Waco? I know you're familiar with it because your dad was a running back at Baylor. Just in terms of, does this feel like home to you, and how do you fit in with your teammates and just the entire Baylor family?
Yeah, it definitely feels like home for sure. It's a blessing to be in Waco and just have amazing teammates around me, amazing coaching staff, and just amazing support staff around us. It's truly a blessing.
Kylan, you had some pretty significant knee injuries in high school. How did that, first of all, tell us what that was, and then how did that shape the player that you are today?
So in high school, I suffered an ACL tear after my sophomore season at a Baylor camp, actually. Came back probably a little bit too early. Ended up partially tearing my other ACL also. So playing my senior year with 2 knee braces. I can say that the experience and the journey has definitely been a blessing. Just the growth that I experienced in my mind, in my body. Learning to take care more of the things that I need to take care of. Being cognizant of the things that I'm deficient in, and then just improving it and growing from there.
I'm so glad that Ari asked that question, because I called a Baylor game last year for ESPN and got a little slap on the wrist from the Baylor coaches because I talked about injuries, which I know is a no-no. So in terms of, I've learned my lesson. What did just kind of fighting through that adversity, though, and then what you went through last year as a player, right? You kind of had a slower start to the season and then worked your way back up to being one of the leaders of that defense. Just kind of walk us through that.
I think, having a support system around you, having people that's going to encourage you in those moments where you feel the most down, and having coach, strength staff, nutrition, and just the whole staff just predicated on making the best situation for the athletes and helping us. And, they're so knowledgeable. So just having them to help me and to grow and to just get to college and, further my career has been great.
DJ, speaking of health, how are you doing health-wise?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's been one of the best off seasons I've ever had. So feeling good, and ready to go.
This Jake Spavital offense, it feels like it's perfect for you. Is that fair?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
I mean, it's going to take advantage of the skill set that you have. When I watched Sawyer Robertson, maybe not as much last year, but the year before, it was a physical run game. Sawyer wasn't a run-first quarterback, but he could run. I think there's a similar profile you have. You're a load. I mean, you could drag some tacklers with you, but it's not your primary, right? So, I mean, it feels like it just fits you perfectly based on what they've been doing.
Yeah, yes, sir, most definitely. It was encouraging to watch what Sawyer did the past 2 years and seeing the numbers that he put up. I'm excited to get in this offense and, learn as much as I can from Coach Spav.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When you guys walked around the corner, you're wearing your suits versus your jerseys. I couldn't tell who was the quarterback and who was the linebacker, right? Okay.
That's fair.
Like, you guys both look like you could play the same position. Okay. So Baylor last year, kind of a fascinating season, right? Really good offensively, had talent, but some alignment issues defensively. Now you've got a new defensive coordinator, Joe Klanderman, very familiar with his game from when he was at Kansas State, 5 straight top 30 defenses. And all the pieces offensively, like there's a lot of newcomers to work with Spavital. So I guess what I'm asking is, I would love for you guys, because like Baylor's a hinge point for this conference. Some people think this is going to work really well, and some people are like, this is going to be a disaster. So convince us as we sit here in your own words, why this is going to work at Baylor and why this is going to be a successful season.
I guess I'll start. I'll say, man, we got a team that's hungry. We got this little saying, we just need a crumb. Man, you give us a crumb, man, we're going to eat. We're going to make something out of nothing. And I think the mentality of our team, the mentality of DJ leading us, man, we got a great opportunity ahead of us. Like, I mean, so what? The past years haven't been what we wanted to be. We got a next year. We got another year to play. So let's go out there and do it. That's the mindset for me.
Yeah, my thought on it too is like it's us against the world. Like, really doesn't matter what the outsiders say. You know, it's all about us and what we believe in the building.
Kylan, how is Joe Klenderman different from Dave Aranda?
Definitely, Klenderman brings a lot of energy. Like Aranda, I mean, you know his temperament, how he is as a person. Not necessarily a bad thing.
Right. Totally.
Yeah, he can definitely show energy in moments where needed. But I think Clarence just bringing that like all the time energy. He always fired up. Very knowledgeable about the defense. And he finds value in doing the simple things. So just keeping it simple and having our cleats in the ground, playing fast.
Is it schematically a lot different than what you've been doing?
I wouldn't necessarily say a lot different. I think Clan has his own way of doing things, definitely different from Coach Aranda. But I think there's strengths in both. I think Clan's simplicity, but Aranda's knowledge of the game, like we got the best of both worlds.
Linebacker, Kylan Reed is the one over there. Quarterback, DJ Lagway is this guy right next to me. So Kylan was just talking about your leadership style. You know, he said, we feel as a defensive guy, we feel good about the offense with DJ leading us. How would you describe your leadership style within this program?
Yeah, I'll say especially like early on coming in, I just try to keep my head down and work hard. You know, and still to this day, but like not really saying too much coming in. You know, just showing the guys that I'm gonna work hard, work harder, not harder, you know, than you, but just going out there every single day doing my job and being a pro. You know, and when I got around like the end of spring, started to be more vocal, and you know, I just try to uplift and encourage guys around me. You know, that's the biggest thing I feel like.
Yeah, DJ, the last couple of years we've heard about this VR system that quarterbacks can utilize, and Dave Aranda was telling us a little bit about it, and that you've been just like a junkie. And apparently you're like setting records for using it as much as you have, which that's what Dave said. He said like the company call was like, you guys are setting records.
Is that the one Jaden Daniels
was
using?
Yes.
That's a game changer.
Yes. Like tell us about.
Oh man, I got to hear about this.
Yes, tell us about it.
Yeah, it's been a game changer. I can't lie. Like I wasn't blessed to have that at my old school. So like having a system like this, it's been totally different. Like it's definitely changed my game of just reading and recognizing coverages and getting to my second, third read. And it's been a game changer.
I mean, is it like playing in like obviously there's probably a different mentality you have when you're in a game, but is it like playing a game? Can you like really make it seem like that?
Yeah, it's the best thing you can get to like playing 11-on-11, like full go game, like without taxing on the body or on the arm while throwing. So it's like it's really legit.
What'd be really cool too is if you get like two and then you have like a middle linebacker that's like trying to call out with the, you know, and then you can have like a chess game between like the middle linebacker and the quarterback, you know, like blitz over there, wait, that's, you know, like trying to just constantly go back and forth, man. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, we did like a whole
series on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because we were fascinated by it, and we were like, why isn't every team in America utilizing this? So you said it doesn't take a toll on your body. Is it something you can do at any time, or are you in like a
They
facility?
set the record for using it.
Like you just laying in bed with this thing on, reading coverages? How does this work?
You can do it a multitude of ways. The way I do it, we got like this little walkthrough room. It's like kind of for the O-line, but I'll get in there, take my shoes off, put them on, put some headphones in, and just run for like 30 minutes a day.
Are you going up against a real defense, or is it more just learning what you guys need to do on offense?
It's a real defense. So like, say if you have a play, say you got like a smash concept, you'll go against 30 different coverages versus smash. You got cover 1, cover 2, disguise cover 1 to cover 2, to cover 3, 3-star, like just all different types of coverages. And like, how can you beat like just, you know, you just repping it out.
Well, and it's sped up too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, so when you actually step on the field, the game feels so much slower. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, it's been a game changer.
Tell them how you can make somebody fall on there. How you told him? You said what? No, you told me you can make the old lineman fall.
What you mean?
You was telling me like he was like you could simulate somebody like I guess like they fell in the
missing a block.
Like missing a block. Yeah. Like you'll have you missing a block. You gotta make a pocket movement.
Oh wow.
Like it's all different types of stuff. Like
They need one of those for defense.
That's what I'm saying.
Get on there soon. I promise you, I'm gonna be on there soon. Me and DJ gonna be in there.
Like guys are sitting at home playing college football 27, and you guys are playing VR, real football. That's amazing.
All right, what do we need to know about Baylor football this year?
I'll say, that we're a team that's going to leave it all on the field every single snap. We're going to go out there and play as a brotherhood, and we're going to give our all every Saturday.
All right, before we let you go.
Kylan's about to answer.
Kylan, go ahead. I'm over here looking at my fun questions. You
It's
go
all
for
good.
it.
I'll just secondhand that. I'll say we definitely going to play together, play as a unit. Looking forward to playing complementary football and just dominating, to be honest.
You got your fun question?
Oh, yeah. All right. If you guys could instantly master one skill in life, you're like, bam, just genie in a bottle. You're going to be the best on the planet at that one skill. It can be anything. Doesn't have to be sports. It can be if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be. What would it be?
Quarterback. Easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right. Let me reframe that. You cannot choose football.
Okay.
Football's off the table.
Okay. I'd be a pitcher then. I'd be an elite pitcher.
Did you play baseball?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, all right.
I'll say I'll probably be like a master engine swapper or something like that. Dealing with cars or something like that.
Do you work on cars at all?
I grew up working on cars with my papa, so I do enjoy doing little things with my cars and stuff like
Sweet.
that.
There it is. DJ non-sports. You got one?
Non-sports, I would say probably be a good golf lesson.
That's DJ.
I'm sorry.
You're about to light Twitter on fire. You can't say that.
I would say probably like learn how to play an instrument or
Yeah.
sing or something like that.
That's perfect. Yeah. That's it right there.
Just let him be the number one quarterback. My God.
He can be all of it.
DJ Lagway, Kylan Reed, good luck this year, guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
There is Baylor quarterback, Baylor linebacker joining us here from Media Days at the Star in Frisco here on Big 12 Radio, on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios.
Rush up the middle. Robertson spins one.
On Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. We are at Big 12 Media Days, along with James Wesley, I'm Ari Temkin, and we're visiting with the voice of the LA Rams, as well as the voice of college football on TNT and the Big 12 on TNT, JB Long. What's up, JB? How are you?
Boy, talk about some voices. You guys are crushing it year-round on the Big 12, and then obviously just talking with James a little bit about some mutual friends in the basketball space. So good on you guys. Great to be with you here in Frisco. I've always heard about this place, and the Los Angeles Rams are trying to build something like the Star in the greater Los Angeles area. So it's nice to see what some mixed-use space, some hotel and residential, and then especially this facility where, prep sports really gets the spotlight on a Friday night. I cannot wait to see that in the greater Los Angeles area.
How do you feel about the humidity?
It's real, and I know it all too well. I mean, there's a lot of great reasons to live in Los Angeles in California. Taxes are not one of them, but the weather is why we cut those checks for sure.
Yep.
But it's awesome to be here. And this is as close as we get to a convention, right? So it's nice to meet some people that I know from afar, respect from afar, correspond with, but don't often get to sit down with like you guys. So I know I'm keeping the commissioner's seat warm, and I'll be out of here in plenty of time for more important conversations.
Not at all. We got to pick your brain first, and I want to talk Big 12 with you. But it feels like just a couple of years ago I was doing some interviews before the draft with some former Big 12 players, and at this time BYU was an incoming member of the Big 12, and so we got to interview this receiver that I hadn't heard much about. His name is Puka Nacua.
I remember that name.
Whatever happened to him? Do you have an NFL career?
Great hair, as I recall. I hope life worked out okay for him.
I would love to go back. I always think about that interview a lot because, I'd love to go at that point. So he not playing the Big 12, but it was like they're incoming Big 12 members. You should talk to these guys. It's probably like the worst. Next, are there any Big 12 guys in camp that you're like? Because I feel like the Rams draft at least one Big 12 guy off the top of my head.
Sure. I mean, Dean Connors is with us, who had arguably the catch of the year. In fact, I think I was present for the two catches of the year in the Big 12 all of last season, probably. I would say Jordan Tyson at Arizona State had a bevy of incredible ones, but the one that I recall against Texas State was special. And then Dean had one in Stillwater against Oklahoma State where he went up and stabbed one-handed.
Oh, insane.
And then you lose track of these guys a little bit in like January and February if they're not top of the board draft prospects, but inevitably, be it through the draft or the college free agency process, when you have 90-man rosters in the NFL during the summer, either on our team in Los Angeles or certainly as you go up against preseason opponents and you prepare for, in our case, I think like Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints and some others, it's nice to be involved in college Saturdays because you do have a little bit of depth and knowledge on these guys, where they came from and what they're capable of.
Well, I know that Big 12 Nation absolutely loved TNT's coverage. I mean, you guys did a phenomenal job in year one of covering this league. Just what were your first impressions and then your overall impressions of covering the Big 12?
Well, I think a lot of that positive feedback came from the sports bar audience, those who got to see what our cameras and graphics operators and producers and directors were capable of, and then did not have to hear Mike or me at all, except maybe through closed captioning. But like, it really was an honor and a privilege to join forces with them, their network, their people at this juncture, both in terms of their network history, the way they're pouring into the college space, and then where the Big 12 was and continues to be. I've been associated with the Big 12 in some capacity for almost my entire career. Not to soak up all of your time before Brett comes over, but I mean, I was quite literally at a Kansas Oklahoma State game the night that I met my wife. I was in the room for Mike Gundy's "I'm a Man, I'm 40" rant. So, I have still a 918 cell phone number, from Green Country, Oklahoma. So almost every stop along the way, Florida, and being adjacent to and covering UCF, now a Big 12 member, it felt like a full circle moment for me to join the revamped, reconstituted, expanded Big 12 last year after I had spent a decade in the Pac-12. It was all the right stars aligning for me, including working with that guy I mentioned. If you don't like him, that's a you problem.
Well said. All right, so give us your big storylines heading into the season for the Big 12.
Well, I think the way Commissioner Yormark stayed on message, handled questions today was clinic. I wish I was that. I think it's very much dovetailing with the larger stories in college athletics. I mean, I don't think it's any coincidence that be it Sorsby or Texas Tech or the Big 12 has owned the summer of college athletics. Some of that was intentional, some of it was not by design. But when you look at the tectonic changes that are happening, how the Big 12 is going to fit into them and how they're going to find success for their member institutions within an evolving landscape, but one that I sense is getting closer to at least a near-term destination, if not a final one, and hopefully one that's going to be better for all of us, broadcasters, administrators, coaches, and especially student athletes. I like the Big 12 is leading, and we're here for football media days, but and I think all of us love hoops and cover Big 12 basketball, really saw the gist of the message that this league is home to the second best basketball league in the world, behind only the NBA. So a lot of good things happening, a lot of big picture issues that are being worked through within our conference. And I'm looking forward to getting to the part of the year where we're, calling touchdowns and talking about the student athletes and don't have to focus quite as much on these other topics. But I do understand their importance, and I'm glad that they're not as unsavory as they used to be.
No pressure here, JB, but we do keep receipts. So with that said, who is your Big 12 dark horse contender this season? A team that makes a major breakthrough. We're talking like last year's Arizona or Houston.
Okay. I was going to ask for a definition of dark horse because,
it's not just any horse, it's a dark horse.
But can Utah be on the table for consideration, or are they too high on the list of perceived favorites? Because I feel like
let's put them to the side for a moment.
Yeah,
because I'm a Morgan Scalley believer. Okay. I think there's continuity in culture despite the coaching change, of course. I love their home field advantage. I think their schedule is favorable. I think Oklahoma State is gonna be a pleasant surprise. This time of year for me is all about coach, quarterback, continuity, culture. And when you have a near total roster churn, that's nearly impossible, except given kind of the critical mass that they brought from North Texas to Stillwater. They're going to put up some points, and they're going to be a problem. Okay, so if you're taking, I assume, Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, you said, is off the table.
Yeah, and I would say
Can't have Houston,
probably off the table.
Arizona, probably we
yeah.
should avoid. Let's see. I think Rich Rod and West Virginia are going to make a leap.
No, that wasn't counting. I'm just kidding.
That's been my big sleeper.
Has it been?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
And this guy's very much adamantly disagreeing with me. So I love that pick. I love it.
I'm trying to go geographically through the map and not skip over anybody. I don't know that West Virginia is going to be back here in the championship round, but in terms of year-over-year improvement, if I had to pick a stock, I'd buy in Morgantown.
Let's do it.
Colorado is kind of my dark horse. I think
that's a good pick too.
Deion's seemed to be in a better, from a health standpoint, a much better situation. I also think he's better as a coach when he's counted out. And I just think the marriage between Julian Lewis and Brennan Marion, they're going to have a good running game. It feels like it fits in a way that Pat Shurmur didn't.
We did Juju's first start in Morgantown last year, and you could see it. It wasn't a winning result for them that day, but you could see, man, if this kid is back next year, he could make all the difference. There was one quote floating around from Prime earlier today, what's going to be the biggest surprise about the 2026 CU bus? And I think his answer was as simple as the wins. So he's with you. He's with you.
Anything else for JB?
Oh, you know what?
You should give him one of the he'd be great.
I'm
on
going
those
to.
Randos
Yeah.
questions.
Okay.
You should ask him the one that if you asked Willie Fritz, because you made a huge mistake asking Willie Fritz that question.
Oh yeah, the Willie Fritz question was if you could live or had to live and be live in any TV show, what would it be and why?
Mad Men.
Great pick.
Ooh,
Great
I didn't
pick.
even think about it.
Man.
Willie gave us
Was that kind of where you were going with that
Yeah,
question?
no, that's
Like,
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Like
exactly right.
era, vibes.
Willie's answer was
John
like,
Hamm.
my wife. I was like, that's not a
He
television.
said his wife just picks what they watch on TV.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Right. He's like, so whatever she's watching, probably Dateline NBC. Same. Okay? I can't hate it.
Would love to live my life in Dateline NBC.
But yeah, if you're talking like, would you rather live in the Flintstones or in?
Right. Dude, yeah. New York.
What was your
advertising
answer? Did you guys
agency.
answer that question already?
We don't-
I've been thinking about that all day. I have been thinking about that all day. I think my answer is Game of Thrones.
What? There's a lot of optionality
I
within
know.
Game of Thrones. I
Yes.
mean,
and I feel like I have all the answers to the
Game of
test.
Thrones.
Let me get
Because
in
you
there.
can manage a fire. You'd be dead in like half an episode.
but that's the age-old question. Like, would you take your present circumstances, or would you want to roll the dice and go back into the lottery? I mean, within Game of Thrones, you could be penthouse or outhouse.
Right. Like real quick. Mad Men's a much safer bet. That's
Yeah.
a good one. I like it.
Either way, I'm in Manhattan on
Right.
Madison Ave, I think,
Yeah.
so we should be all right.
Make it bank.
I don't know if I'm Don Draper, but
Right. And then you walk in the office, you're like, why is somebody smoking? There's so much smoke in here.
Right.
I
Well,
don't like that.
my office is stocked with liquor and cigars. So
Yeah, exactly. It's a party.
JB Long, voice of the Big 12 on TNT, and of course the LA Rams. Thanks for your time, JB. Always appreciate it.
great to connect with you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and the commish.
You too, bud. Thank you.
We'll have better answers to your random questions.
No. JB Long joining us here from Big 12 Media Days, the Star in Frisco.
Pressure again off the edge. Wigman has Koziel. He's got room to run. Touchdown.
Great protection. Jump ball for his tight end. And he reeled it in. Wow. How about Tanner Koziel? Of Tanner Koziel on that play. Goes up in the middle of three defenders. Oh, nice. To the end zone. The tight end, Koziel. Touchdown, Houston.
True 6'7", he blinked, he didn't blink and said, absolutely he is. And when you've got that against a guy who, although isn't short at 6 foot, and Marquise Groves Killebrew, 6 foot 179, the red shirt junior transfer is no match for a guy 6'7", 257. You got reach on him, you got size on him, and a quarterback that can put it right on the spot. That's outstanding football.
Looking for 6 instead of 3. Wigman, touchdown! His favorite target, Tanner Koziel.
That one to the flat. He's going to be the crosser versus man coverage. Better double team this guy ever on the field.
Of the game. Wigman back in the end zone.
Big 12 Media Days is the site presented by Monster Energy here at the Ford Center. Star in Frisco, Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12, is joining us here on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. How are you, Commish?
Doing great. Thank you for both being here. It's a great day. I can't believe we're embarking soon on another college football season for the Big 12, but I'm excited.
When is there not a busy time for you? Like, I feel like, people in work, whatever they do, whatever industry they're in, it's like there's always a busy time. Then there's like a little bit of downtime. It feels like the summer should be the downtime for you.
It should be, but it hasn't been because, when you think about it, so in the early part of June, we have our spring business meetings, and that's a big undertaking. Obviously, you guys were there. On the heels of that, we have year-end meetings with the CCA and the CFP, and we were in Colorado for almost a week. Then you're coming back to Dallas and making sure you're getting this event right, okay? Now, I would say when I look at the calendar, the next 2 weeks through the end of July, pretty sane, okay? But our eyes are on the fall, and you're getting ready, if you will. But things are relatively sane. And then when you get back to August, you're gearing up for the beginning of the football season, and we start engaging with key stakeholder meetings, board meetings, and AD meetings, just setting the tone for the next academic year. So I would say later this month is a time where you can exhale a little bit. Now, I will tell you that I am going to take a little vacation towards the end of August and then end up at our game in Dublin. So I'll do a little
European vacation,
vacation, then
awesome,
and then end up in Dublin, and then the season starts.
Oh, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Will you be going to London too in a few weeks after that for Arizona State,
interesting
Kansas?
enough, on my way to my European trip, I'm going to stop in London for 2 days and then meet with the press on August 18th, getting ready for the big game at Wembley.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Checking all the boxes.
Trying to mix a little business with pleasure.
You were at the podium earlier. We were here. Coaches at the podium, coaches here. I missed the big announcement about the partnership with Monster Energy. I get online. I see it everywhere. This sounds huge for the Big 12.
It's a big deal for us. You know what? When I first got here, I wasn't sure if the Big 12 had the right brand equity. And, I had flirted with possibly renaming the conference and integrating a bit of a commercial element. But then I realized that given the hard work of the staff at the conference office, our board, our ADs, we've developed a real positive narrative around the Big 12. And I often say it, there hasn't been a better time than right now to be part of this conference. So why jeopardize that? Why compromise that? So the next thing I thought about was, how about if we do some naming rights for different sports and take conference-controlled inventory that's never been monetized before and figure out what we can do with it. And that's what we did. And I'm thrilled about the Monster partnership. Monster Energy, checks a lot of boxes for us. Great brand alignment when you think about the drive and edge and ambition of their brand and our brand and our student athletes. You think about the global nature of their business. They're sold in 159 countries. So think about where they can take us. They do a lot of retail activation, and they plan on taking us to retail, not just the conference, but the conference office, but other elements, of the conference in our schools. There's a lot of things they're going to do for us to elevate and amplify who we are and where we're going. So it's a great partnership from that perspective. Obviously, the economics matter, but it's really more about when you partner with someone at this level, what can they do for your business and brand? And I think they can do a lot.
One of the things that I really admire about your leadership is the way that you're able to get consensus. That we see a lot of infighting amongst conferences across the country. When the Big 12 makes an announcement, everybody's behind it. There's no athletic directors or presidents that come out, disagreement with it, right? Like putting the Sorsby piece to the side for a second, like you get consensus on everything, even the Sorsby piece.
I try, and it's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
I will tell you that based on where I came from, managing to a 16-member board and obviously the influence of the ADs is something relatively new for me. And I've adjusted. and it's probably taken me a little time to get there. But building consensus is critically important when you have multiple stakeholders, at the table. And I think over the last 2 years, alongside my ADs and my presidents, we have worked on cohesion and making sure that we all share in the same mission and vision. And I'd say right now, we're where we need to be.
What are the latest, I guess, updates? Because it feels like with all the college football big picture stuff, with the eligibility stuff that just got passed and the Sorsby stuff and the Protect College Sports Act, where are we at on the college football playoff and the Big 12's position? And just kind of, is there any movement? When do those discussions kind of get kick-started again in terms of where that lands?
I think I know we had meaningful conversations in Colorado. And I would say we kick-started them in Colorado last month. And I think they'll continue when we come together later in the summer.
Okay.
And, for me, and I said this earlier, I do like the element of access, greater access, and 24 delivers that. Having said that, the economics matter. What does the marketplace think about going to 24? What does that schedule look like? The economics, obviously a priority, the scheduling, and then what are the unintended consequences? What are the things we should be thinking about that we're not? That could play a role moving forward. So we started vetting those things out in Colorado, and I think we'll continue to do that through this summer. And I think by early fall, we'll have a sense for directionally where we need to put in more time in an effort to ultimately get to a decision.
I remember when we talked with you about this, I think it was before the spring meetings, you kind of mentioned basically like, we've got to model this out and make sure that the revenue is there and you're not in it to be made whole. You want to exceed your revenue, which makes sense, right? Is that possible because the championship game is such an important event. We talked to Scott Draper about it. Is it possible to generate greater revenue without a championship game?
Well, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We'll see what the marketplace is for a 24-team format. And, we have our own external team and resource that we rely on to do some of that modeling for us. And so far, based on what I've seen, it pencils out pretty positively. But we're certainly not going backwards.
Right.
And as Scott said earlier, and he's right, our football championship serves as a huge tentpole event for us from a brand perspective. I mean, last year, you guys were there. We had 85,000 plus. Our ratings were up 39%. It ultimately was just a big moment for the Big 12. And I don't want to give that up without knowing what I'm trading for. Because effectively, it's a trade.
Yes.
You know what you have, and you want to figure out, is there an opportunity to get something that benefits the conference in a greater way? And that's what we're working on now.
When it comes to, like we were talking with Scott Draper earlier, and the some of the best experiences I've ever had as a fan was watching college football in person, being in the stadium on weeknights. I love it. The championship game will kind of be back and forth between Fridays and Saturdays. What are the benefits of not just that game, but also having these games during the regular season on Fridays or even another night, down the road in the future?
Well, I tell you, there's lots of different decisions that go into that. Okay. And I'll just be very candid and transparent. I've said this before. We need to find clear air for some of our games. And we need to be flexible in what days of the week we play. Now, as part of the new TV deal we have with ESPN and Fox, and last year was the first of a 6-year deal, they have the ability to move 12 games, 6 and 6, off of Saturday. Okay. We need to take full advantage of that.
Yeah.
And as I said last year, our Friday night games rated 64% better than the average rating for the season.
Wow.
Okay. Because there's clear air.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to explore that across the board, and look at new and different ways to create value. I said it today. I'm in the value creation business, and one of the ways we can create value alongside our TV partners is to innovate and look to create new windows where they're afforded to us. And the move to Friday night has been terrific. If there's other windows that make sense for us, don't compromise student athletes, certainly don't compromise the fans, then we got to be willing to do it as first movers and innovators.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Kansas alum. Arizona State, Kansas, in the middle of the Big 12 schedule on a Saturday. Okay. Arizona State, Kansas in Wembley Stadium early season. Like, those are two completely different dynamics. Like, you're going to do without even looking at the numbers, you're going to do a much better rating with the situation, with that game the way it is, as opposed to week 8 or week 9 of the Big 12 schedule on a Saturday, at 11 a.m. with 17 other games at the same time.
So one thing I love about college sports, specifically college football, is that we're in the big event business. And we have to think about how do we create the biggest moments and the biggest events that we can. And taking two teams, to your point, and moving it off campus to an iconic venue in Wembley and packaging it up a little differently makes it into a big event. Now, Fox Big Noon Kickoff goes there. Okay, first time they've ever gone international, and they're going to amplify that all week long.
Yeah.
So to your point, it's how do you make the necessary adjustments to look and feel bigger and to create value?
The one thing that I wanted to ask you, it's a frustration of mine as we try to really, raise the profile and voice of the Big 12. How do we get 2 playoff teams? It just feels like, there's BYU in particular. Like, I understand they lost to Texas Tech twice last year, but it feels like they had a considerably better resume the last 2 years. They're getting credit nationally for. How do we get the Big 12 out of this, what seems like treadmill of the same conversations over and over again that isn't, to me, jive with reality of the situation in terms of how good the league is?
We got to be better. I mean, I said that today. We just got to be better. We haven't won a game in the 12-team format last 2 years.
But it's not unfair. It is what it is. But it's only one game a year. We're getting judged on one game a year.
You're absolutely right. But that's why we need to continue to compete at the highest level, so we have multiple teams in the playoffs. So all your equity isn't just in one school
game. Yeah.
and one game, and we need to do better, and hopefully we will. And when I look at our the conference upcoming, and obviously we have 4 new coaches and there's been a lot of change on our rosters, I'm very optimistic, and I think we have a chance here, and I'm very hopeful that we can continue at the highest levels and not only get 1 team in, but 2 teams in, and also win some games.
Yeah, I'm just curious from your perspective, because last year was better than the year before, right? Arizona State was like a 12 seed. They took Texas to the wire. That was great. But then Texas Tech getting a bye. This year, does it look better to get multiple teams in, or just to win a game in the college football playoff if it's just 1 team? I'm just running through scenarios.
It's for me.
We want both.
Yeah, no. Listen, we want a volume of teams in, and we want to win games. But I think for us, to make the necessary progress we need to make, I want to win a game.
Yeah,
I want to win a game, because if we have 2 in and we don't win,
then it looks even worse.
The narrative hasn't changed much.
Right.
So I want to win.
Yeah, let's get it.
Brett Yormark, Commissioner of the Big 12, joining
Thank
us
you,
here
guys.
from 2026 Monster Energy Big 12 Media Days at the Star in Frisco on Big 12 Studios and Big 12 Radio.
Thank you both, guys.
Malachi Lawrence ends that drive for K-State. He is swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. Malachi Lawrence, a loss of 2. And third down and long. Trouble on the edge. And they go back to back. This one belongs to Malachi Lawrence. Johnson on a 4th and 6. Going the opposite way. Now he throws around the edge. In pursuit. numbers and track down. Malachi Lawrence finishes 3 here in Orlando with his UCF night.
We're back at Big 12 Media Days here at the Star in Frisco. We're talking UCF football with the quarterback Alonzo Barnett and the defensive back Jaden Bellamy. What's up, guys?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate your time. I'll start with you, Alonzo. What have your impressions been of UCF as you've come over now from James Madison?
Yeah, I think it really mirrors James Madison a lot with the family type atmosphere, the expectation of winning, and how people really care about the person to the left and to the right of them, which is what I was looking for in whatever university I selected.
Yeah, I mean, the season that you had last year, I'm assuming you were very sought after in the portal. What made UCF and Scott Frost in Orlando and all the things, the Big 12, like what made this the right fit for you?
Yeah, no, first off, inherently and unconsciously, I enjoy my time at James Madison. So within the next school, next program I selected, I was going to, see what made me feel the same way. How could I have the same sentiment at a new school? And so, like I just said, the family atmosphere at Central Florida, I felt that, immediately. There are coaches on the staff that have their sons, in the building working as well. And then on top of that, the staff they have, their children and their families around. So I felt the same type of family atmosphere. And that's just speaking off the field. On the field, I think Coach Frost and his pedigree with quarterbacks, it speaks for itself. My quarterback coach, Coach KZ, Mackenzie Milton, played the game at a high level at the same university. So that's a big help. He knows the ins and outs of the university and what it means to be a quarterback, and then Coach Cooper and how he was kind of a mastermind in a sense with the operations and play calling was really attractive to me.
Jaden, you came over last year from Syracuse. What was year one like for you in Orlando?
Say it again.
You came over Syracuse, right? What was year one like for you last year in Orlando?
I was very blessed to be in a situation I was. I chose UCF really because of Grinch. He recruited me in high school when he was at Oklahoma, and once when I met him, we talked schemes and whatnot, and it was kind of similar to what Syracuse did. So it was just kind of trying to fit my play style. So that's the real reason why I chose UCF.
Yeah, I mean, according to Pro Football Focus, you grade out as a top 5 corner nationally, not just in the Big 12, but the entire country. So how would you describe your game and what makes you excel at that position?
I would say I'm a technician, and I try to use my brain as much as possible because that's what makes you play faster when you know what's coming before it even happens. So I try to use that to my advantage, and I really just the technique comes from the places that I've been to. I've been to Notre Dame. I've been with a good coach, with Coach Mickens, who is at the Ravens now, and then I have Fran Brown and Coach Fisher, who Coach Fisher used to play at UCF. So they all taught me different techniques, and I just try to use them to my advantage and just try to switch it up against the receiver so they don't know what's coming.
Jaden, when you watch as a corner Alonzo play, like what stands out to you about his style and how he plays, and as a corner, like what do you notice about him?
At JMU, I seen a couple games, and like he reads the back, and he try to get a tell of what's happening to the secondary, so he knows what to read and what should he be looking at and stuff like that. But I feel like that helps us as an offense, because if you can get a tell into the defense, then you could probably be more than likely successful.
Jaden, can you name all the quarterbacks that played for you last year? Is it 5 or 6 of them, right?
It was at least 5.
It was a bunch.
I mean, having one, I would imagine would make it a lot easier. Health-wise, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm full go.
Awesome.
Working out with my guys and really getting that chemistry down.
Obviously, not participating in spring was it sounded like it was more just precautionary. Does that hurt you in trying to learn this offense? How do you try to get up to speed without having that spring ball?
I mean, I just operated like I was practicing every single day, learning install, drawing install, watching film, and you just up your preparation in a different way, rather than being able to prepare physically. Now it's just mentally preparing, drawing the plays. So I was able to get acclimated, and I feel like I have a mastery of this offense.
Alonzo, did I see a clip on social media of you throwing a football like off the stadium concourse or maybe it was AI generated. I feel like it was real because there's all this talk about his injury, and then you were just bombing away.
Yeah, no. That wasn't AI. That was a cool little snippet video I did with my guys, Jay Litt, and I threw one. It's from the Black and Gold Cabana. I threw one. It was at the near numbers and then the near hash, and then moved it back to midfield. So it was a fun thing to do.
Okay, so describe this. I didn't hear about this. What happened?
Why don't you describe it?
Yeah, so it was a video for Good Greek, which is like a moving company for UCF athletics, and so just had a fun idea. Let's not make it boring. Let's make it like a little trick shot challenge. So Will Stone did a similar thing, except kicking it. So instead of kicking it, obviously I threw it into like a big moving cardboard box.
Like it was a bomb too. And I love the comments on social media were like, I'd say he's fine. Like he looks healthy to me. Looks like he can hum it. How would you describe your game for fans that maybe in Big 12 country haven't seen you play?
Yeah, I try to be, a point guard, make everybody's job easier, overly communicate with the guys around me. I also would say I'm a playmaker in the pocket, outside of the pocket. I believe I can do it, and I know I can do it with my arm, my feet, and, just making the right plays consistently.
Why did you go to JMU initially? And just kind of talk us through your career there and what stood out and what you remember from it.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on my career, my time at JMU, I'm nothing but grateful. Was able to, learn and grow a lot. not only on the field but off the field as well. But just starting off 3-star out of high school, didn't have too many crazy offers. Kind of had similar offers, Old Dominion, Charlotte. But JMU had a winning culture. I knew they were moving up to the FBS in the Sun Belt with Coach Signetti. So Coach Tino and Coach Shanahan, and they really believed in me and gave me an opportunity and a shot. True freshman year, redshirted, obviously scout team, everybody does that. Redshirt freshman year, got benched after a half of against Bucknell. So watched the rest of that season, came back, Coach Chesney and them came in, fresh start for myself. And then from there, was able to, win the starting job. I had the opportunity, actually started off the exact same UNC Charlotte as Bucknell. Coach Chesney and that staff stuck with me, believed in me, and got through that season, tore my ACL, came back this past season, and, it was a great season for me and the guys to be able to, make that college football playoff run. So that's just a short summary of what I've been through.
That's amazing.
Leger Douzable, he's over there, played defensive end at UCF long time ago, but he's a good friend of mine and really close with your coach, Scott Frost. Is Coach Frost always so, I don't want to say monotone, just even keel, dry? What's he like behind the scenes?
Yeah, does he ever get energetic? It's a great question.
I would say he's the same way he acts with how he's around y'all. He's the same way he acts around us. He's always chill, level-headed, and I kind of like it because that's how I am too. I'm just chill. I'm laid back, and when it's time to go, it's time to go. But when it's time before the game, he's gonna get fired up. But behind the scenes, he's just chill.
From what I've seen, you get what you see with him. He's a bit of a jokester too, so I think you get him in the right scenario, he'll crack a couple jokes.
But I would guess that calm demeanor, it makes it easier to absorb the information and absorb what he's selling, the message, versus a guy that is maybe over the top intense at times. Does that make sense?
Say it again.
I would assume that the thing you like about him,
even keel,
his even keel, calm demeanor, makes it easier for you to absorb the information and the message that he's selling.
Yeah, I would definitely say that, because even with our position coach, he's kind of the same way. He told us before, because we had somebody get fired and he went to the Vikings, and then Overstreet, he came in, and the first thing he said to us, he's like, "I'm not gonna yell at y'all. I'm gonna treat y'all just like NFL players. I'm not." He's like, "I'm gonna shoot it straight with y'all," and the same way he is how Frost is. So I could see the similarities between Frost and Overstreet. So that's what I like about both of them.
That's awesome. Jaden Bellamy, Alonzo Barnett, good luck this year, guys. Can't wait to see you play.
Thank you for having us on.
There's a couple of UCF Golden Knights joining us here from Big 12 Media Days at the Star in Frisco, right here, and you're home for the Big 12. Tune in Big 12 Studios.
One for 6 on 3rd down. Vittori scrambling and gets dropped in the backfield. Najee Kelly.
Sets up first down and back for Cincinnati from the 8. Quarterback throw, it's Sorsby, and he gets swallowed up immediately. Najee Kelly atones for Muzzle, but he stays on side, right? He's not jumping off side. Doing a good job in the passing game. First down, Andrew Hall, his first carry. Swallowed at the line of scrimmage.
But a good job up front, too, beating the block. 55, John Walker.
Editor.
Oh, look out. Kelly made the hit. The ball comes loose. Rodney Laura has it, and the officials say he's also got a touchdown.
Talked about him before. I mean, he's a problem. He's just a problem waiting to happen. Steps up. And scooped up. It's going to be a quick 6.
To make plays. Here's Kelly Lawson right in the middle. He bluffs up and then drops back. So that when the defensive end knocks that ball out of the quarterback's hands, it's almost like a blocked kick. Daniels will give to Williams, and Williams denied. Najee Kelly, the former Miami Hurricane, coming up with a stop.
Nowhere for the running back to go, but Kelly at the top of the screen, number 9, just slips through.
Big 12 Media Days. That's where we are here at the Star in Frisco, along with Taylor McHarg. I'm Ari Temkin for Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. We're talking with a couple of Colorado Buffaloes here. New wide receiver, Danny Scudero, along with Juju Lewis, Julian Lewis, the quarterback, the Buffaloes. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate your time.
Yeah, how are you?
Julian, you excited about having this dude now?
Oh, yeah. Nah, definitely excited to have him.
I mean, first of all, like, you must be one tough dude. Like, we're kind of the same size, and I can't even imagine taking the hits that you've taken. At my size, I mean, you're bigger. Don't get me wrong, but like the amount of catches, the volume, that's incredible. I would think for anybody. So Julian, I'm sure you're going to be excited to have a guy like that.
Oh yeah, of course. The excitement goes both ways too. I'm excited to have Julian too.
What about Julian makes you excited?
He's just a young talent. You know what I mean? The arm talent that this kid has is crazy, and he's a great student of the game and everything like that. So I think we're getting ambushed by some mascots here, but here comes Chip and everything.
Yeah, we want Chip. We don't want the Bearcat.
That's what I'm saying. There we go, Chip. Sorry, I lost track. What was the question?
You were just talking about what you liked about Julian.
Oh yeah, and he's a great student of the game. So he learns our offense pretty fast, and he's out there helping us and really supporting us as receivers and building our relationship every day.
Julian, this second year, I know a year ago there's Caden Salter there as well. There was your first year playing quarterback at the college level. For this year, how different does it feel? You've had the off season, you've worked through, knowing you're the guy. How different does that feel going into this fall?
It's definitely a blessing. It makes life easier. I think it also helps with the team morale, just having the quarterback to believe in and things like that. We were moving around a lot with the quarterback, and the quarterback play wasn't what it needed to be last year from us. So just glad we get the opportunity this year.
Yeah. And Danny, we talked a little bit earlier off air about this, but coming from San Jose State and the experience that you had there, even though you are a new guy to CU, do you still feel like you're bringing sort of a veteran presence to the locker room just with the amount that you've played?
Yes, sir. I definitely feel that with my years of experience playing in college football, regardless of the level, it's definitely bringing a level of experience that can be used in a locker room. And it can definitely help, it can help our offense with just understanding the game and having played a lot of college snaps before.
Tell me about the Brendan Marion offense, guys. This is why I'm most excited about Colorado this year. It's why I picked Colorado to win a lot more games than a lot of people have, because I think the marriage of this offense with you, Julian, Colorado's not had a running game at all since Deion's been there. It feels like this is the year to have it. Take us through what this go-go offense will look like, this iteration of it.
Yeah, the go-go offense is a great opportunity to move the ball around. We got a lot of great athletes, a lot of great receivers that we just want to get the ball to and let them work. A lot of guys we don't really need to do too much to, and that already came in with it. DeAndre Moore, we got Danny Scudero, Cam Perry, guys that all produced on the college level, so they're all ready.
You got a favorite route?
Not really. I think I was asked this earlier today, and I pretty much said anything deep.
Deep ball?
Yeah, I like the deep ball, and luckily the guy next to me throws a good one. So
I was going to say, Juju, do you have a favorite route? Like, is there one that you're like, 3rd and long, I want this?
Nah, when you got guys like this, you just let that thing fly. Yeah, you just let that thing fly.
Yeah, I guess when you look at the roster right now, how much different is it from last year, and how much do you think it better suits your skill set, Julian?
How does the roster suit my skill set?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that can do great things after the catch, like I said, and a lot of guys that can take people deep when they need to. So, I think it suits my skill set because I'm a quarterback, and I want to throw the ball. So, a lot of guys, you just put the ball in their hands, get the ball near them, they're going to make a play on it.
Danny, you excited for the atmosphere at home at CU? That place has been rocking the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic to play there, play at Folsom Field, just because, I've only seen videos. I've seen how much it sells out. So being able to be out there and see the whole stadium packed for the Buffaloes, we're going to give them a show.
What is it like to lead college football in receiving yards?
I wish I could tell you that I felt any different after, but it was a great experience to have. But at the same time, last season ended, and
now it's new.
Now it's new. Can you do it again? And can you be an All-American again? And that's kind of what happened. I mean, even at San Jose, we didn't have the greatest record last year. We didn't produce as much as we wanted to, and I still felt like we left a lot on the table. Personally, for me, and having led the nation with that, and still feeling like I left a lot on the table, that's a feeling that I like to have, because I'm looking to improve on last year.
Last one for me, guys, and thank you both for your time. You guys schedule right out of the gate. A couple challenges, right? You're on the road at Georgia Tech. You got a road game against Northwestern. I believe it's also road somewhere in there against Texas Tech early in the season. Just how fast, or how important is it going to be to have that fast start this season, especially?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we're always gonna look to be 1-0. I think we're all worried about the first game of the season, Georgia Tech. You know, that's an away game in Atlanta, so we all just excited to get ready and prepare for them.
Like Julian said, our kind of thing is really just not looking too far into the future, just trying to go 1-0 each week, because that really minimizes the stress of a whole season and simplifies our game plan and everything like that.
I don't know if you guys know this. Your coach is a pretty good football player in his time. What's it like to play for Deion Sanders?
I mean, it's great. The knowledge and wisdom that guy can give down to us as players, and to be able to just sit there and learn from a great like him, you really want to take advantage of it, because not many people get this opportunity that we have in front of us.
Yeah, no, I think being around Coach Prime is great. Having a mind like that, a former athlete like that, is hard not to try to soak up as much as you can from him. Just hearing his words, just hearing the motivation. He's also a very godly man, so it's great hearing that biblical point of view and just him actually understanding. He sounds like my dad's over there talking when I hear Coach Prime talk, honestly.
Julian Lewis, Danny Scudero, good luck this year, guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
That is the wide receiver, Danny Scudero. Julian Lewis joining us here on Big 12 Radio at Big 12 Media Days. Here at Big 12 Media Days, this is 2026 Monster Energy Big 12 Media Days with Taylor McHarg. I'm Ari Temkin on Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo. And so with a couple of Utes here, Wayshawn Parker, running back, Devin Dampier, quarterback. What's up, guys?
Good.
All right, so I'm not an offensive coordinator. I haven't really played football at a high level, but
I'm hearing it.
with you two, and then Bird Ficklen's pretty fast. I feel like you guys can run a deadly motion like offense with 20 personnel, 21 personnel, right? With Wayshawn and Bird in the backfield. With you, like, who's got the ball? Hop it. Am I on something here? Like, with you two and then him?
You're on to something. That's
impossible to defend, guys.
That's why it's crazy. It's like for a defense to have to prep a week of like what we could do is crazy because like there's stuff that they haven't seen that we did the previous game, and then they're gonna be like, well, if they did that last week, maybe they're gonna try to do that. Like it's so unpredictable. So definitely put stress on the defense.
So Kevin's looking into what I'm saying is like maybe slip this to Kevin, be like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but like Bird's fast too. We can give him the backfield. Like people know what we're gonna do.
We can try to slip it to him.
Just slip it in there. Be like, look, three of us are really fast and good. So
yeah, facts. Hey, facts.
just
though.
ideas.
Seriously.
Just idea.
We've
I
also
told
had-
Morgan too, by the way.
We've also had a lot of players come through over the last couple days, but I will say by far the best jewelry so far. I mean,
Oh,
come
it's
on,
us?
look at this. Yeah,
It's
let's
us?
go. If you're listening on TuneIn, you
Unquestionably.
can't see this, but
Join us on
we
Big
got-
12 Studios and see what we're looking at here.
Hey, I ain't even see our
Phenomenal.
other teammates. Hey, we came. We
Came ready to
all
go.
right today. We came all right today.
ready
I
to
say
go.
that.
Devin, last year on Inside the 12, we talked about with you, it felt like you hit a different gear when you got to Utah as a quarterback that maybe was not unlocked when you were at New Mexico. Is that fair to say? Almost like you got into some sort of a rhythm and it just felt very comfortable in this system and playing at Utah.
Yeah. If I could describe it, I would say at New Mexico, I was more of a try to create big plays. That's how I played with the mindset. Create big plays. Don't worry about the outcome. That's kind of how I was my sophomore year. And being able to get into junior year, it was a controlled big play type of guy. I still wanted those big plays, but to be able to control it, to be able to know situation and be smarter with the ball as well. Like I felt like a more controlled version of who I wanted to be. So continuing to make steps towards that is, where I want to be at the end goal.
Why'd you stay?
Man. Okay. Let's start off with Scally. Coach Scally had the most influence and most impact on me staying here. He made it very known to me that he's seen the trust in me since the beginning. I mean, since New Mexico, he trusted me to become this player that is going to lead this team to where he wants to go and things like that. So for a head coach to continuously put that into my spirits, and even when he was the DC, he put that on me when I came in as, a quarterback. My visit was low key through Scally. So just for him to have that impact on me, I got done with surgery. He was there waiting for me. Like so much goes into that, how much of a person he is. And, I look into people more than, I look into the sport in some type of way. So for that to be there was a huge plus for me. And then, man, just the guys that I was able to have conversations with, like, man, are we staying? Are we sticking this out? And, when you have guys like Wayshawn and Jono and Lance that are here, guys like that I've had strong connections with, and we make that decision that, what's best for us is we want to all be in the league, and this is where we can all do it. Let's stick together.
This is for both of you guys. So I'd love to get both of your answers on this. Every year in college football, coaching staffs change. People leave somewhere and there's a new staff that comes in. But I feel like with Coach Scally, it's almost as though everything has stayed more or less the same. It feels like I know it hasn't been, but the vibe and the confidence when we're visiting with you guys and from Coach earlier, it's like, let's not skip a beat. The expectation is to just keep winning and winning at a high level. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I say it's a fair to say. Like, the energy is still there between me and him, but the team, just him stepping up is a big step for him, and we're all proud of him. But I don't feel like it changed anything in the team chemistry or the team bond or just the bonding between the coaches.
Yeah, and I think him being under Witt, he's a huge competitor. I mean, that's what's so similar about those guys is that they love winning. They love winning more than anything. And when you're that type of competitor, you're going to continue to find ways to keep winning games. And, that's kind of how we feel. We find him bringing us a new approach to what he thinks is, the way for us to be successful. And, we can see that he wants it. We see it in his eyes that he wants it. And, that trickles down to us like, oh, man, if our head coach got this belief in us, why shouldn't we?
Devin, for you, obviously offensive line play last year. You got a couple guys that are playing in the NFL now that were unbelievable. But the entire starting five, there's turnover. And I know there are some guys behind them that had some snaps, but more or less, this is an entirely new offensive line. How have you seen them come together this offseason in preparation for this season with a new unit?
Man, confidence. I think confidence is, one of the biggest factors, especially for those guys. Their battles are strictly, can I move this guy one-on-one? You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. And for them to start gaining that confidence of, now I am the guy, being behind those guys, those first rounders and stuff, that's all you hear about. And now it's for them to step up. And, they feel that pressure and they love that pressure. They want to be great. They have aspirations to, try to be a first rounder as well. So with them having, some of them going into their senior years, they know what's at stake and, they embrace it. And I'm happy that they're continuously finding ways to have player-led meetings and, getting that book and, making sure they're on the same page.
I'm curious, you talk about getting to the league. Have you gotten feedback from the league? What are the things you're trying to improve upon in your game in order to put yourself in position to be an NFL quarterback?
Man, I honestly, I haven't got any like direct feedback from the league, but I guess what I've heard is I've gotten better at turnovers. I heard turnovers was a big problem coming from my sophomore year. So that was something I definitely eased down on, being able to control the game. I've got a better feel of. I would say me personally, though, I mean, if I was an NFL coach, I'd want to see a quarterback that shines in big games. And, that's something I want to be able to do. I felt a little restricted last year being injured. It tore my soul apart that I couldn't play the way I wanted to or how I'm capable of. But just to have the opportunity again to be healthy and go into a season and showcase that, that's all I'm asking for.
How many games did you play?
Last year?
Yeah.
I missed one in Colorado. I
did miss. I was gonna say, did you play all the games? You were hurt.
Yeah. I seriously couldn't play Colorado. there was no way. I could barely walk the whole entire week. But
is that the game the Bird had like 5 rushing touchdowns?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Colorado got beat down.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So we have within the Big 12, there are some really good home field advantages, but I'm not sure there's one that's better than Utah. How does that feel? I mean, when you guys have it going, especially at a night game, I mean, I don't want to play there. I don't know that there's a better home field atmosphere, and we've got some good ones in this league, than what you guys have at Utah.
I mean, from my experience coming from Wazoo to that, it's a big jump. Like that Cincinnati game, it was the loudest I ever heard. I mean, I've went into some stadiums that was loud, but never compares to that. Every game is sold out, and that's what I appreciate the fans from coming out and being diehard fans. I love that.
Yeah, you see them outside of the football stadium. Like when I go out, I see people and they're like, "Oh yeah, Devin, like we need the picture. Like we're so happy you stayed." Like you hear everything from our fans, and it's honestly great. It's amazing how tuned in they are to our season and how much it matters to them. Success of Utah, they love when Utah, especially the other team down south. We're happy that Utah has became, a place where you're looking at us and them who could be. It's crazy that the same state as conference contenders. So I'm happy the way the Utah fans are, and man, Rice Eccles again. There's nothing like it, especially the night game.
Oh my gosh!
I tell people that Kansas State, like, I'm not saying we weren't playing bad, but we were playing normal Utah football. I feel like we weren't doing anything crazy, and then like we came out of halftime, it turned nighttime, and
place comes alive.
A different game that third and fourth quarter.
Playing NCAA football and everything's wiggling at the bottom of the screen, and the crowd noise is going through the roof.
Facts.
But like you actually were a Division I quarterback, so like you don't have to.
I mean, at Kyle Field was the only thing that we ever played in that it looks like, and I have not been to Utah for a night game, but it just looks like the same thing where it's like, man, forget about verbal snap count. Right. Everything's got to be on silent, and if you get rattled, it's over because they're gonna just jump.
Yeah, they get louder somehow. Like it's already loud, you can't hear. Then you get the false snap, and then they get louder, and you're like, bro, Y'all were just loud. How could it possibly get louder? It's hilarious.
Devin Dampier, Wayshawn Parker. Really excited to see you guys this year. Can't wait to see what you're going to look like. Good luck this year. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.
We got Wayshawn Parker. We got Devin Dampier from Utah joining us here from Big 12 Media Days in Frisco at the Star here on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios.
Sword speed zeroes in, flicks the wrist, and Royer is wide open. Wrestled down inside the 20.
Manor in the backfield on 3rd and long. Sorsby off the back.
A great teammate, a great leader, doesn't talk a lot, but he's very trusted. Joe Royer on the inside.
Sorsby into the end zone. Joe Royer, first touchdown of the day.
In this building, including myself, thought that Corey Kiner was going to get the ball and make it to him. He got deep.
The leg.
Pass, touchdown to the tight end, Royer. There's a flag, though, in the end zone.
It's clearly offside because you got a guy running on the field. They made a play the entire play with 12.
Get off the field. Sorsby hangs in and delivers.
Joe Royer.
Watch Joe Royer here working in the middle of 3. Just goes up, sees his quarterback in trouble. Defender falls down, but nice job going up, making the play. Taylor Davis.
Open in the flat, Sorsby the other way. Passes caught Joe Royer to the end zone. And a hop, skip, and a jump.
Joe Royer was on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, and so he runs across the formation. The defense not only is it allowed, does it get him.
Through 6 weeks of the season, and Baker Mayfield playing MVP. Here's Joe Royer who breaks a tackle. Joe Royer, touchdown.
Royer, all he does is turn around, sit, show hands, and then he makes one guy miss and land in Cleveland, and he races to the end zone for the touchdown.